Have a stick?
Yes.
Ooh. Wow. What is this? What grapes?
Cabernet.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Sauvignon.
Perfect. Perfect. Hi. Bonjour.
That's why we only got it in 2022 here in France.
Ini prosesnya beda lagi kan?
Beda lagi.
Paperwork and everything, yes.
Prosesnya lihat lain.
Hello.
After 3 years, they are allowed to say no. And if they say no, you have to restart the whole program, but you have to wait 2 more years before asking. Before asking, you have to wait at least 5 years. Please, come inside.
Sorry about our wait.
It's alright, no worries. As long as you're here right now, it's okay for me.
Ada dua, Mas.
So, we're going to use elevators. What you see here are elevator maps. We can put right inside, and then we can make it move up and down throughout the whole facility to go wherever it's needed. That's how we can avoid using any kind of pumps. Yes, in this way we're replacing the pump with the top side elevator. That's why we see that. Now, upstairs, we're going to go now we're sorting the berries. Now, the sorting of the berries here at Château Pedesclaux is done in 2 steps. Step 1, we're sorting on the brake function. That's done manually, where you can already see what's not getting good enough on advance and remove any excess relief or unexpected passengers, anything you do not want in your wine. After that, step 2, we're going to separate the stems from berries, because we want to make wine with whole berries and we're not going to use any types of steps here. That's going to be done by a robot because they are a lot gentler than humans. When we pull on berries, we're going to squash them. We don't want that to happen, not at this stage. And the last step is manual sorting. So you'll have a treadmill and it'll start removing any berry that's too white, too rosé, or not up to our standard. Right after, all of the berries will be put in a rolling vat. This is going to be put on top of the elevators. We'll open the latch and the berries will fall. And with the weight of the gravity, that's how we're going to press them. You don't need to use any other kind of machine or feet of the people. So yeah. Now we're actually going to go upstairs to see exactly how the sorting is done. You can take videos, pictures, anything you like. And as soon as that's done, we'll go downstairs to see how the fermenting is done inside the vats. Please follow me. Sorry. Yes. Exactly. You just crush it itself. Because just by the gravity, the first one is split open, and then you're going to create a cushion, but by just them adding, it's going to crush themselves. It is a lot more gentle than just a mechanic presser. our sorting line. Wow.
Wow. Ini bisa-bisain Pak.
They do on average 9 to 8 hours per shift. So when it starts, the competition
Ini pilih-pilih. Jadi air. Macam. Ya, Mama.
Simple as that. So now we're going to go back downstairs and see how the kick is on this side of the path. Let's call the rig.
Kita pas banget tempat waktunya ini lagi harvesting.
Some people, they come here and after day one they quit. We're not going to hire them like that next year because we know they quit. Whether it's for a personal reason or another reason, for us it's just an insurance. So please, we'll go right over here.
Ini bedanya ada dua. Kayak tadi cuma satu.
Tahu. Ganti nggak?
Satu, dua. Hah? Tadi ada satu doang kan?
So, in the very small, you can access the juices which we call fermentation, the new and the mouth. So our goal is we're going to use alcoholic fermentation, where we add the yeast to separate the juices from the skin. So by adding the yeast, alcoholic fermentation starts, sugar transforms into alcohol, creates a lot of pressure, a lot of air, so naturally all the skin will rise up on top of its juices and create the cap of marc. That cap is what we're going to use to achieve the tannins and the colors. But to do that, you need a special method called the rack and return, where you take the juices and you make them pour over the skins multiple times. Now to do that, most places will use pumps, but that adds too much air and is too aggressive, and that's going to give you very harsh tannins. Not very good for your wine. So we're going to use a rack and return by gravity with the help of the elevator. Step one, we're in the upper vat, we want to separate the juices from the skin. To do that, we're just going to connect the upper vat to the lower vat, and all the juices will go inside the lower vat. The skins then will stay upstairs. After that, we're going to connect the lower vat to the elevator. Since the elevators can move up and down in the facility, we're just going to make them a bit lower than the lower vat, and by gravity, the juices are going to go inside the elevator. When the elevator is full, it's going to go upstairs, so it's going to be higher than the upper vat. Connect the upper vat to the elevator, and by gravity, the juices will fall back on top of the skin. So this whole process was going to be done twice a day for 10 to 12 days. But that's how you get that beautiful color and the beautiful tannins.
Each vat, one shot.
Yes, whenever they have one side, yes, with the whole process. Yeah. Now luckily the vats are not all full at the same time, so that does give them breathing room a lot of time. Now after that's done, we're going to have experts that are going to be trying the wine, and they're going to tell you whether it's going to become the first wine of the property or the second wine of the property. Château Pedesclaux or Fleur de Pedesclaux. By doing that, it ensures that both wines stay of high quality, but they also have the right aromas we're looking for. Château, a little more black, more structure. Fleur, more red, more fruitiness, more freshness. You don't want the same parcels, you don't want the same grapes. Yes. And after that's done, respective vats for each one will be blended together, put inside the elevators, and then we're going to send them all the way down to age them in our barrels. During this aging, that will have the second fermentation, the malolactic fermentation. The malolactic, naturally. It happens just naturally after the, if you don't do any alcoholic fermentation, it will rarely happen, but after. No, it's because the malic acid is naturally found in grapes, and it's naturally going to transform after time. So yes. And that's going to give you a lot of finesse and a lot of roundness to your red wine. So now we're actually going to quick pop downstairs to see where we age the wine, and then we'll go for a tasting. Please follow me.
Sama nih, putar-putar juga. Sekarang nggak ada ini modern kan, sama filtration sama. Barel, bawah selalu barel.
Yes, it's going to be quite cold. Yeah, 16 degrees right down here. Yeah, the barrels. We're going to see them right now.
What is actually the difference? This is modern.
Yes.
Process, right?
It's a very modern process today, yes.
Does it differ with the one with the oaks?
No, so the taste will be the same. It's just that it's more quality. It's for us more quality control, and it permits us to control all the things that could go wrong. Now they can't go wrong.
Oh
because we
yeah.
Control everything.
Yeah.
So yes. But the aging you see very traditional because that doesn't need any
Yeah.
control at this stage.
Ya. Di sini ya tetap sama agingnya.
ini agingnya sama.
So in here you have about 1,500 barrels.
1,500 barrels.
Yes, just for you, sir. We knew you were coming and we knew you're thirsty. So. Now, Château Pedesclaux and Fleur de Pedesclaux, the two wines, are not going to have the same journey as every barrel. Château Pedesclaux has been 16 months with 40% of new oak, whereas Fleur de Pedesclaux was 12 months with 20% new oak. Now, why those differences? Well, first of all, the longer time you spend inside the barrel, the more oakiness, the more structure is brought to the wine. Fleur, which is very fresh, you won't need to add that. That's for the same reason why we have different percentages of new oak. See, new oak is a reference to how long the barrel has been used. It's been used for more than 3 years to make wine. It's then considered old oak, and it won't give out much aromas. That's why here on we're going to try quite high percentage for the Chateau, but a low percentage for the Fleur because we don't want that adage of structure and oakiness to be brought into the wine. We want just a little bit for the vanilla, but that's it. So, yes. Now, we have here 7 different coopers that are going to make all of these barrels. Now, out of these 7 different coopers, 6 French and 1 Austrian, Stockinger. the barrel right here, usually.
Ada Austrian bunyi. Barrelnya nggak
Now why is that?
semuanya
Because
French.
each oak from each different country around the world will not give you the same aromas. Of course,
Austria.
if you say in Europe, very similar aromas because very similar climates. But if I were to take a plane to the States, then I have oak, the American oak, which is pineapple and coconut. We don't want that much here because, well, it's so different that it would really change what Bordeaux feels like.
Hungarian?
No, so Austrian, yes.
Austrian.
So why Stockinja? Because of all the companies in the world, it's one of the very rare one that sun dries their wood, and that gives it a very nice texture that we use. It stays and it's very nice, which we agree on. So yes. Now during the aging, there's a step no winery can forget: topping up. When I put wine inside the barrel, some of the wine evaporates, creating a little gap. That gap is going to connect the wine to air. That's very bad because that can lead to oxidizing, and your wine will then transform into vinegar. To avoid that, you're going to keep filling up, and that's topping up. Now, would anybody might know the name of that little piece of wine that just disappeared and left in the air? Does anybody might know the name?
Tadi ada sangganya, ini nggak ada.
Angel share, or in French, la part des anges.
Oh, I love it.
So why that name? Well, because the first people to make wine in the world were in Europe were monks, and they believed they made wine so good that angel would come down from heaven and just steal a glass. That's why if anybody here is interested in art, during the Renaissance, a lot of the smaller angels had very red cheeks. It's because they were drinking a bit too much of our wine. Yes, and we didn't agree with that.
Ini aluminium, ini apa? Aluminium.
Oh, well, topping up. So they just
ini
have,
bisa
so they're going to use from
buat
different
wangi
barrels.
dalamnya,
For example,
sebetulnya.
all of these barrels, you have a sacrificial barrel that we use because they're very similar.
Terus ini
That's how you do it.
opnya,
That means you start with 1,500 full barrels, you might end up with 1,000 only barrels. That is a possibility.
How long a period would that be?
After 16 months, 12 months, 1 year, 1 year and a half. Yes. Now, you might have noticed these amphoras right here. So what are these for? Well, they're going to change how we age our wine. Now, the goal here is not to create a new wine, but change the recipe of Chateau and Fleur. Instead of aging them all in oak barrels, we're going to age about 20% in, and for us, an 80% in oak, and then blend it together. Because wine from amphora is very fresh and notes of red fruits. Why now we're trying different materials to see which one would be the best. So we have this one made out of clay, the two brown ones out of terracotta, the one in the middle made 100% out of porcelain, and last but not least, let me present you the egg of Pedesclaux, made 100% out of sandstone.
So have fun. It's all an experiment, right?
It's all an experiment right now. We're not active. This wine at the end of the year will not be blended. Some will be blended with the wine to see how it turns out, but majority of it, if it doesn't work out, blend up to us, the employees, as a little treat. So we're actually very happy.
Pakai lain-lain.
So yes. Now, during the
Coba
aging
pakai
process,
clay.
wine will get very lonely. To avoid it, a lot of vineyard will play some music. We're going to prefer giving him friends. So the little sculptures you see here, they're all made by an artist called Patrick Roger. Now he's not a sculptor by trade. No. He's a chocolate maker by trade. But his first passion as a child was sculpting, but he never knew he could make a job out of it. Later on, he discovered, why don't I just sculpt for something I make every day, chocolate? So he makes these beautiful chocolate sculptures, and then he remakes them in metal because sadly, people get a bit too hungry around chocolate. So metal is safer for the permanent sculptures. So yes.
Are they first growth or what's?
Fifth growth.
Fifth growth.
Fifth growth right now. But that actually doesn't matter today because the quality with the ranking in 200 years has changed. You can change it legally, but it has changed for people. If you have sunglasses on you, I suggest you put them on because you're going to get brighter as soon as you open the door. Huh? that means you will finish at 9 p.m. But some other days means you finish at 6. So that's depending on how much wine has been added, how much you did on that day. And since they all have different fermenting periods, for the Merlot might come in before Cabernet, depending what happens, it can actually be quite smooth process. Now, why do we only have 4? Because we only need 4 people for an efficient process. If we had too many elevators, we'd have more elevators than actual people, and then it would be just a waste. Whereas 4, you can really stay.
Wow, interesting.
The 4 flags that you see here change every week. They're based on the percentages of visitors we have of that nationality during the week. These are the 4 top nationalities we have. So Austria, Brazil, Australia, and UK.
Ada Australia,
Well, mainly
cuma Austria, Brazil, sama
a lot of people come here today because of the rugby. We have, I would say 60% of the clientele today comes here not just for the wine. They discovered the wine later on, but it came here for the rugby.
Right.
rame karena ada
Where are y'all
rugby
from,
juga.
if I may ask?
Rugby.
California. We're in Cali.
Oh yeah.
Ah, today. Beautiful city. Yeah, sure is. Been there a couple times. A lot of fun.
This is beautiful too.
It's very different.
It's very different.
I've been to Sonoma a couple times. Wine up there. We're going right through here. Thank you.
Itu katanya 15 liter, Pak. Banyak deh.
Kabarnya boleh buat.
Oh, I get it. It's 2 and 2. Right. I can understand.
Empat.
Hmm?
Yeah, stand with me.
Gonna get you to have good subjects.
Oh, you need to go down? When you're ready.
Would you like me to take your picture together?
Later. It's okay.
Later?
Thank you.
You remind me.
Yes.
We're missing one person.
He went around the corner.
Ah, of course. It's not the first time this happens. People would like to visit a lot, so. Today I prepared 2 wine choices today: Fleur 2020 and Chateau 2019. So you can have a side-by-side comparison of what they are as a young wine, and also why the Chateau is typically wine you want to age. You can also be drunk as a young wine also. So Fleur de Pedesclaux, very fresh, lots of red fruits, perfect summer wine. Its lightness, its explosion of fruit, hints of vanilla. It's a wine that'll stay in the summer, so you have still that structure, not that other young wine sometimes which forgets. But it also won't be as heavy as a really big wine, so you can drink it even on a hot day, or very simple food. It pairs wonderfully roasted chicken, barbecue, tomato mozzarella, everything that's very easy to make. Now, this is not a wine you want to age more than 5 years, 10 years. If you go over it, it'll still be very good, but it will miss its spark, which made it very special. Yes. Now, the Fleur de Pedesclaux is quite an unusual vintage for the region because it has almost equal parts of Chateau and Fleur de Pedesclaux. We're looking at here at 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, 48% Merlot, and then 2% Petit Verdot. Usually you have a higher content, as we'll see with the Chateau of Cabernet Sauvignon. So please, let me serve you.
Are both these wines distributed internationally?
Of course they are. So if you want to buy our wine internationally, all you have to do is go on our website, pedesclaux.com, and we have a little thing which it says, where can you find your wine? It's a world map with every restaurant, every cellar, everybody that has our wine in stock.
Very good.
So yes.
Very good. That's
Now, you might find it in places which aren't on the map. That's just because maps only updates if they tell us if they have our wine.
Sure.
Sadly, we don't actually know where our wine ends up, so if they don't tell us, we can't know.
Yes.
What's the biggest distributor of your wine?
So I don't have actually knowledge of that information. That's a separate department. That's going to be the sales department. I'm in tourism, so I don't have access to that information, sadly.
Okay.
But I do know that our biggest market today is Europe. Now, why Europe? Because it's easier to export.
Sure.
And it's also, well, we have most of our, thank you very much. Most of our wine will be in France. I would say 30% of our wine will stay in France. 70% will go to the whole world. But that 70% is very fractioned. So depending on the country, a bit more, a bit less. So yes. Yes, please. Enjoy.
Oh, we didn't want to do a side by side?
Well, if you want, I can serve both of them at the same time, so we can have side by
Oh, I don't know.
side.
I don't know what anybody else thinks.
Usually, so what we said, I'll let you taste it first alone, and then I'll come serving the Chateau, so you can really, after you experience the Fleur together. So we actually want you to taste the Fleur first, because the Chateau will have a lot more impact. So if you taste the Chateau first, the Fleur will be very different. So yes.
It's a berry.
Yes, very, very. Flower.
Turun ya. Tadi lebih enak. Tadi lebih
So,
enak.
fun fact, the flower refers to a four-leaf clover. Because when the owners bought this chateau and the other chateau, Lyon-la-Ruisse, they kept finding this exact thing which you might have found in the tour everywhere on the older buildings. And we always were wondering, why is this everywhere? So we hired an investigator and told us, well, at the time in the past, you had this make builder that was his calling card. So whenever he built something, he put it there. And he actually built the two chateaux that we own without us knowing at the time. So we decided to homage to him, put it here. But sadly, four-leaf clover is a bit of a handful on a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Lorenzetti, the wife of Mr. said, well, it is a flower, so why not fleur? So yes.
Was he Irish?
The original builder? No, French.
Okay.
That's, no, but so four-leaf clover, just checking. But no, clover is actually quite common in the region.
Okay.
So yes. No, so France and Ireland haven't had a good relationship in the 1800s because they were British for us, and British and France in the past had very strenuous relationships. Yes, well now we're only allowed to hit each other in rugby. That's what we all love rugby. So yes, and if you want to know, English people call us, the French people, derogatively frog legs, and we call them roast beef because they get very red. So yes.
Oh, that's funny. I never heard the roast beef.
Yes. So now we'll taste the Chateau, which have more notes of black fruits, hints of cacao, and as time goes by, it's really going to evolve in those underwood and mushroom aromas, consistently evolve. But we've made sure that it's still a very nice one to enjoy, even if it's young age, depending on what you prefer. If you prefer the older, more structured elements, you do want to keep it. If you prefer younger wine, it's still very good. In 2019, only 5 years apart. So yes. Now, my best suggestion today would be pairing this with dark chocolate and classic meals. Now, classic meals can be nice beef with sauce au poivre and French fries, or even a canne duck à l'orange, or even more classic bœuf bourguignon. But dishes that have an impact, then it can stay with you. If you do something very light, the wine will go over it, and that dish will lose its flavors sometimes. So you're looking here at 72% of Cabernet Sauvignon, followed by about 20% of Merlot, 6% of Cabernet Franc, and then we're going to finish on 2% of Petit Verdot. That's actually almost mimicking what we have in parcels, and that's usually what most chateaus will try and do. So yes, we just have a higher degree of Merlot because we lose a lot more Merlot in our secondary wine in most chateaus. That's why you don't have 30% Merlot.
Are 3 years? The Petit Verdot is not right.
You may have said it earlier, but how long in the
Barrels?
the barrels before you bottle,
16 months for the chateau and 12 months for the fleur.
and then you release it.
And then we'll release it, but it won't be able, for example, the 2022 will be able to the public in 2024, 2025.
Picking the futures.
We live in the bottle.
Yes, we leave it in the bottle because here in Bordeaux, you sell about 95% of your stock in the future.
On premiere. On premiere.
Yes, on primaire, exactly. So that does cause you to have a lot in your winery and be like, why don't you sell your wine? I see you have wine, we can't sell it, it's already been sold. That's a lot. So that's a lot more common in Burgundy, where they have at least 2-year wait time. Here in Bordeaux, it's more organized, where we have every year a new wait list.
The 2000.
It's all
Berry. Cassis, blackberry.
so exactly. So that's why I say it's so good when it's young, because you'll have that berry when it's young. When it's older, it's gonna still be berry, but it's gonna be like fermented like in jelly. It's like confiture, like we say in French. So yes.
That's lovely.
Whereas here in the chateau, it's not really a very distinctive smell compared to the very fresh berries you have in the supermarket today.
Beautiful balance too.
Okay.
California, the Napa Cabernet